Alright, so this isn't a high quality video. This ain't nothing fancy, ain't trying to do nothing crazy. But I've got a lot of people messaging me asking more details of my rig since I posted it in Farm Sim and Truck Sim and even some of the sim racing groups. So I'll do that. I'll do a full breakdown of everything. And we'll start with the chassis, all that you see here, the mounts and everything. All this is a GT Omega ART chassis. I can't remember the price. You'll just do the good old googly search. I'll try to link some of the stuff for you guys if y'all need it, but most of the stuff you can just Google it and you'll find it. If not on the products website, you'll find most of this stuff on Amazon. So you're gamers and stuff, you know how to find stuff. So this is an ART chassis from GT Omega. Pretty sturdy. I've got a bunch of stuff on it, and you can actually do some minor things to reinforce it more to make it more rigid. A very easy modifications. There's actually holes. You can line up some metal bars, drill a hole through it, bolt it. It's going to be more rigid. I'm working on that myself. When I do that, I'll show it. There's a guy on YouTube. There's a guy on YouTube named Carl Gosling. He does a great review of this chassis and his modifications to make it more rigid. But this is pretty good. Like I can move it if I want to, but when you're actually like racing or driving and stuff, you don't notice it. It looks like you would doing this looks like you would probably notice some of this, but you don't. It doesn't bother me at all. And like I said, some of the stuff is not even tightened all the way up yet because I'm still making adjustments. And like I said, it's got a bunch of stuff on it that it's not really supposed to have. This is meant for like keyboards and stuff. So that being said, we'll move on. Some of you guys follow Farm Sim Guy on YouTube. He does custom dashboards for an app that I use for every game, from Farm Sim, Truck Sim, Automobilista, Assetto Corsa, all my rally games, Flight Simulator, any kind of driving game you can, F1, whatever. Sim Dashboard is the app to have, in my opinion, in conjunction with Sim Hub, because you can do these little things right here. Try to see, you can see the dash over here. So this is a setup for Farming Simulator. If it'll wake up. And this tablet's like $100 at Walmart. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it does the job. There's no lag when I'm actually using it. So as you can see over here, I have all my buttons for crab steering, for the trailer unload, which side I want to tip on. I can control the engine, the cruise control. I can even change the time scale. And I didn't design this layout. You can just, once you download Sim Dashboard, and if you pay for the Pro version, which I highly recommend you do, and it's not that much. I want to say it's like less than $10. I highly recommend you do that. And you can just go to the community and download community designed button boxes. Because basically what all this does, each button here is mapped to a keybind on your keyboard. So that's how you do it. And then over here, this is the one that Farm Sim Guy designed. See if I can pull this for you guys. Have it in frame here. My camera is going to be craptastic, isn't it? Anyway, he's got one. If you need to look at it, I'll let you guys see it. Let's see if it's gonna. I needed a camera. I'm just starting out. Bear with me. Anyway, he's got a dashboard here that works with Farm Sim as well, and I've got it set up for like my GPS steering. I can see which tool is activated and which one isn't, which one's raised, which one's not. I can see my speed, my fuel, my fill level. And he's got other ones for specific tractors as well if you want to go that in depth. Again, it's Farm Sim Guy on YouTube. He shows some of his sim dashboard layouts. Go look at it. Moving on to the wheel. This is just a Thrustmaster TX PC Racer, or in this case it's the TSXW Xbox version. If you're gonna buy a new wheel, I would say don't get this one. I love this wheel; it's a great wheel, but at the price point that this comes in at now, I think you could do better with a Fanatic or some of the newer direct drive wheels. Unless you can find a deal on these. If you can find a really good deal on a TSX or a TSXW or PC Racer, Get one. They're fantastic. I like this one over the TX wheelbase because this has 1080 rotation, 1080 degrees rotation. So like farm sim and truck sim really benefit from that because it's a little bit wider turn, a little more precise, and it's just more immersive because tractors don't turn at a 360-degree angle unless you're like a lawnmower driver. And this is just the Sparco 383 mod rim. That's the only rim I have, so I want to use. I don't really need. So yeah, the pedals. I don't know if you can really see those down here. These are Husingveld Sprint pedals. If you're playing farm sim or truck sim, you do not need these at all. I got these for sim racing because it's got load cell in the clutch, brake, and pedal and all that jazz, and I can adjust the firmness. If you do like sim racing though, and you want a really adjustable set of pedals, get these for sure. Don't waste your time with the Thrustmaster TCLs or even. I've never experienced the Fanatic V3s. They look like a good set, but for a little bit more money, you get a way better pedal system that's got way more adjustability, higher quality build, and just an overall better looking and feeling product. The only thing that the V3s have over these is just they can be inverted. These, unless you have an aluminum extrusion rim or rig, you can't invert these, which is I thought I would hate, but I've gotten really used to it and it feels fantastic. So now the things you guys are probably actually wanting to look at now is this group over here. For farm sim and truck sim, for farm sim I do not use this anymore. I used to have it programmed to the lower tool bind, but it didn't. Once I pull it, it would lower the tool, but as soon as I let it back, it would pick it back up again. So unless I'd used the locking mechanism to lock it in place, it didn't really work right. So I didn't use it. But for truck sim now, I use it as my my engine brake, my Jake brake. So when I pull it back, it engages. When I let off, it lets off. And that's not how a Jake brake works. It's just like a button or thing on the wheel. But this is pretty neat. It's just an immersion thing for me. $100 on Amazon. I've had it for maybe 6-7 months, and reviews say that theirs falls apart, stuff gets loose and all this and that, but this one I've had, like I said, for 6 months. I use it for rally, truck sim, anything, Forza, everything, and so far it's held up great. I've had zero problems with it. If you use it in some of your sims, when you first initiate the game, you might want to pull it to recalibrate the axis because it might be a little funny. But yeah, for $100 for an e-brake that has really good, like I don't even have the strongest spring installed. You can get stronger springs, and this is pretty good. This works fine for me. And then moving on to, sorry, I keep knocking into crap. Moving on to this is the Logitech or Saytech. They're both the same company now. Throttle quadrant that you can get off of Amazon for like $33. And this is what I use for so far from my basically my throttle and hydraulics on farm sim. That's my throttle. It works kind of like an engine speed lever in a tractor. Due to farm sim's kind of not sim coding, it works more like a throttle pedal. So you just kind of set your pedal instead of your engine speed. So when you're driving along and you hit the clutch and you have this engaged, when you hit the brake, the engine speed comes down, and in some cases it doesn't. The tractor then doesn't stop correctly. It's like you have your foot on the gas and the brake at the same time. It's just really weird, but you get used to it. You learn the little nuances to it, and it's really good because, like, again, I have these load cell pedals, and so holding down that throttle, baling hay for a long field, that gets really hard on your foot, and it's especially in truck sim. I use cruise control all the time, but I kind of didn't like using cruise control in farm sim because most of the old tractors don't really do that. You would use the engine speed, so that's why I had this. This is the hydraulic for raising and lowering the tools. Again, it's just an axis, but in farm sim it acknowledges as a button. So once you bump it up a little bit, it raises or lowers the tool, and then all of these have these little downward actions that you can map to something else as well. And then this, same thing. This is to engage and disengage the tool or the PTO. So on, and then raise it back off, or you can do on and then off. Not realistic, but it's more involved than just tapping a button. I'm just a weirdo. I like little things like this, so it's good for me. And also down here you have 6 different buttons that you can program. Right now I've got it set for just engine start and then some of my light switches, and I think the other ones I haven't quite used for yet, but I think I'm going to use these for I can't, for like tip sides and stuff for my tractors. And then this is this unit over here. This is the Satec or Logitech side panel. I think this is like $100 to $120. I could be wrong. On Amazon, very worth it. It's if you play farm sim, if you play truck sim, or if you play any kind of simulator, and you want a good button box that has a lot of functionality, this is the one to get. A lot of sim racers use those wheel mounted dashboards, and those are great. But if you want something that's got like this right here, let me tell you, if you don't want to use Tobii Eye Tracker because you don't want to be bending your neck around looking behind you, but you still want to manipulate the camera, because I don't always have my mouse near me. I don't like reaching up, or don't have my controller in my lap. If I'm just driving like a truck or a tractor and I want to look around, I can use this to manipulate the camera. And also you can tap this button right here, and it switches the entire axis layout of this, so that then I can use this for my front end loaders or my cranes or what have you, hydraulics, whatever I want to do. So you basically have 2 joysticks in one, which is a simple button. So you can be looking around and you get to where you need to go, and you got to unload or move the front end loader, tap it, manipulate the loader. It's very, very handy. This wheel here, I use this in every game for if I'm playing Assetto Corsa or if I'm playing Automobilista. This is my brake bias. So I can move the brake bias forward and back in truck sim and farm sim. This is my cruise control speed setter. And then you can actually click, and that's what I use to turn on and off the cruise control. And then all these buttons here are programmable, like for farm sim. This is my tool. These are my tool operations. This is lowering and raising stuff or dumping. This is all my lights, and then this is for like some of my combine pipe in, pipe out. And some of these are for hiding the UI. In racing games, this is like my front and back shock absorber adjustments. This is my wing settings or traction control and ABS settings, so on and so forth. These buttons here I usually let these be camera settings for different camera views. And this button here is a button here that clicks. Unfortunately, these are not toggles, like back and forth switches. They're just buttons. They look like switches, unfortunately. But there's still plenty of buttons here to use. And you can map these however you want to. It comes with a standard setting, but you can map these whatever you want to. If you play farm sim and truck sim and also race on the side, get this. 100% get this. I can even use this in games like The Crew and Forza to, again, move the camera, or like in Forza, you can raise and lower the convertible in like 1 or 2 cars because they're too lazy to design a proper game. But anyway, we won't get into that. The Crew, I can use this to look at my map, do the emojis for cruising around, which I never do, but it's there if I want it. I change my views, yada, yada, yada. And then, so that's that. And then these two here. So this is the Thrustmaster THAA shifter. It's around $120, I think, on Amazon. Good shifter. It's got me through many, many years of racing. It has an 8-gate shift pattern, obviously, but also has a sequential. But the thing I hate is you have to take this plate off and do some silly stuff to make it a sequential gearbox. So it's just not ideal. But if you can get past that and use this for farm sim or truck sim or racing for just go through your gears or your gear ranges or what have you. And even one point in time, I used different gates to raise and lower tools and to dump a long time ago. It's a good shifter. But that's why I got this. This is the SHH shifter. It's made by a small company in Europe. It's 3D printed, and it cost me, I think, with shipping to America, it was around 120, $130. So around the price range for the Thrustmaster, but to me, a little bit better quality, I would say, because the shifting is proper. You feel like you're actually shifting a gear. But the real trick that I really love, and I'm sure you've seen online, is you can push this down, turn it 90 degrees, and you can rotate that as many times as you want to get to the setting. But once you rotate it 90 degrees and you flip a switch down here, it doesn't move, to the left, so you don't accidentally go to the gear, but it's a sequential now. So you just pull it back or push it forward, and it's a proper sequential gearbox. You don't have to take the plate off. You don't have to do nothing. If you just pick a car in Assetto Corsa, and it's a sequential like the GTs from Sim Racing Studios. You go through your gears, whatever. Then you hop in, let's say a 90s DTM, and it's an 8-gate or a five gear car. You just push that down, twist it. There you go. You're shifting again. And then just flip the switch to tell it what sensor to pick up, sequential or the gated. And build quality, when you feel it, it feels like something that would you think it would be flimsy, but it's actually not. It's sturdy. It's rigid. The only movement you get is just from the plate that I'm mounted on, because this is it's a budget chassis. But also just the material it's made out of sometimes can flex a little bit, but you don't notice it. You really don't notice it when you're using it. And so with Farm Sim, I use both of these. Again, I've showed some of you guys in my other video. This is my ranges, so like low gear, high gear, fourth range, whatever. And this is my proper like gearbox. So let's say you're driving an old tractor and you want to put it in high gear but second gear, or you know what I mean, high range second gear. You would set it like this, and then you would just pushing your clutch, push this up, get your engine speed up, let out the clutch, and away you go. And you can program these however you want to. Farm Sim is really good about mapping tons and tons of accessories. It's pretty good about that. I think I'm at the peak though of what it can handle, because I also have a Sim Racing Studio seat here, and that with Sim Hub I can actually get rumble. I can get feedback from the tractor. It's mostly engine, but sometimes you can feel the bumps in the fields and stuff. It's depending on your speed, because for the life of me I can't get this to pick up force feedback in Farm Sim. I just can't. But the seat cushion really helps. This is a little bit pricier. I think it was around $250, maybe $300, and it's used with just about any driving sim. You can actually use it with any game. If you're playing like Call of Duty or whatever, and you want that rumble, that boom, that vibration from gunshots or whatever, you can make this work with that. It'll just go through your sound card. You can download Voice Meter, tell it to treat this as a speaker, and you'll get audio feedback with vibrations, in which I'll play Fallout with it, and I'll scare myself, because it's just like when something jumps or something bangs, something shoots, and it vibrates your body, it'll get your attention, and it's really cool. It's a nice way to get immersed into the system, especially like I have the Oculus Quest 2, which is a fantastic VR headset, and with Vorpex software for like $40, you can play like Farm Sim and VR. But even just like Truck Sim and some other racing sims that support VR naturally, all of this, because I have memory where this is all laid out, all of this with the seat and the VR headset is an incredible experience. And then I'll also give you guys a little peek over here, if you can see. Oh, my cord's in the way. Hang on, we're gonna loop to the front of my office because it's a little dirty. Sorry, I'm still putting stuff together here. Over there is the Honeycomb Alpha and Bravo throttle quadrant. I can do a video on those as well if you want me to go through them. And then the Satec rudder pedals on the bottom. If you want to get into flight sim, that's the set to get. It's absolutely amazing feeling. It's well made. And tons of customizations. And then we'll loop around. Sorry, my camera just fell off. So yeah, this video went to crap real quick. Anyway, yeah, that's my little setup. This is my office, so to speak. And yeah, I'm gonna start recording now because I'm done talking. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, hit me up. I'm trying to make this whole area look professional and well put together, and do some videos. I work 50 hours a week. I get 2 days off. I've got relationships. I've got family, all this other stuff. I'm trying to balance. I'm trying to build a podcast studio as well. So yeah, any ideas, any questions, any remarks, any whatever you want to cuss me out, that's fine. Just let me know. Bye.